sometimes it'd be a little 1/8 or 1/16 of an inch off, even though I had centered the center peak.
Yeah.
The sides didn't come out.
Right.
And I'm sure it was.
I felt like I was cutting too much off.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the way I was
You do.
sewing.
Yeah, you do, but look, I mean, there's my finished piece there, and I see if, I know you're a perfectionist, Ruth. Some of us are, you know, she'd worry about a 1/16 of an inch, and I'd say, oh my God, is it even close? You know, is it even close? But
Well, I feel better seeing that
Yeah.
yours is not perfect.
okay. It's not perfect. No, it's not. Not that I ever knew it.
I was talking about
Yeah,
like at these
yeah.
intersections.
So I mean, Kathy says if you can't see, if
From a galloping horse.
Galloping horse, if you can't see, what difference does it make? Now, if you want to get real precise, do that,
No, thank you.
because that's paper pieced. So the points, I think on that one, the points came out okay. On that one, I think they all came out okay. But it's kind of hard to mess up with
Patty,
paper piecing.
why don't you show them on the one that's not trimmed there how to line it up again so that they can.
Yeah, I think they all. This is now one of the things about the Tucker trimmer is that it's designed. Deb Tucker says she likes to overcut things so she can square them up. You know, so she can get them and square them up. So here's the thing. Now here's the Tucker trimmer, and it's got half-inch marks here, and it's got inch marks over on the other thing. So you can do up to 6.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is take this, because I know I want this to be 4.5 inches. Right here, I'm going to look at that line right there, line it up with the edge of the thing here, move it down until I've got 1/4 inch seam there. And here's my 4.5 inch line here, and down here, here's a 2.5 inch line. So I know I'm okay because I'm within those things. So if I trim this now, right here, and then I rotate this around and line up that edge, there's a V right there. You can see it or not. There's a V right there that I can line up and get it lined up and get exactly 4.5 and by 2.5. So this tool makes it a lot easier when you're doing flying geese, and like we said, your rotating mat would make it easier too. And this is the one I also used for lining up the half squares, you know, and trimming them up so they were perfect too. So I really like this a bunch.
Today is back day. It's a really good day to buy that too.
Yeah.
True.
So anyway, if you don't have one, you might want to pick one up, but they're handy if you do, particularly when you're doing a lot of flying geese. Okay? What about show and tell? Are we ready?
You're
Anybody have any
ready. Come
problems
on.
with it?
Yeah.
Did you have any problems with any of them, or?
Just the flying geese.
Just the flying
that
geese?
was my most difficult.
Yeah.
No, I like the new way of doing the flying geese. It's
Yeah,
easier.
have you never done them that way before? Yeah, that's it saves, well, first of all, it saves a lot of fabric, I
It
think.
does.
You know, it really, you don't end up cutting off those corners, you know, like you would if you, I mean, traditionally with flying geese, you would have like a 4.5 inch square, and then you'd have a 2.5 inch square, and you'd have to stitch that and fold it over, but then you had that you had to trim off. You know, if you got that you got to trim off, it's not going to help you a whole lot. So I like that way too. I think it saves a lot of fabric. Had the rest of you done them that way? Had you done them that way before? Yeah, it's a fun way to do it.
This is my first time to make anything besides a strip or just square type quilts. So
Yeah,
it's been interesting.
yeah, it's fun. One other thing, Linda Hargrave had called the other day about that center square, and she said in the directions it didn't tell you what size to trim this center part right here to. And I don't know if you know, and I don't think any of you had that problem, but if you did, in the diagram for making this block, it shows that this is a 3.5 inch strip. So logically that has to be a 3.5 inch square. I thought that was a neat way to make that without having to do, you know, what do you call it, partial seams, you know, to be able to do it that way, I thought was it gives the effect of looking like you've done a partial seam, but you haven't. You've done the 9-page on that one, so I thought that was cool. But anyway, she had anybody have any other questions about directions? Have you had any problems with any of the
The
directions?
one thing I would love to see is them tell you which direction to press everything, not just here and there. There's been a few, but I wound up having to repress things once I started putting together to
Yeah.
make things lay nice and flat.
Nice and flat, yeah.
So that was a little bit frustrating for
Yeah.
me, but there again, I'm new at all.
Yes. Well, you're doing a great job. It looks beautiful. Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, Ruth is our perfectionist here, does some of the rest of you are too, but like I say, I am not a perfectionist when it comes to sewing, but, anyway, I'm trying to be on this one, trying to be better since y'all are looking at my work, and it's not perfect. Okay? Hi. You need something?
I'm just gonna join you.
Well, come on
Please
in.
do.
Yeah, come on in. So anyway, that's where we are with this, so you are welcome to look at any of these in more detail if you want to. Okay, go ahead and have a seat. Grab a seat, or wherever you want to sit. We're just trying to, and what's your name?
It's Anna.
Anna,
Sorry, I'm late. Yeah,
Anna last name?
McDonald.
Anna McDonald, okay, this is Carol
Hey, Carol.
Turner. Okay, this is Wanda Taylor,
Hi, Wanda.
Ruth Curtis,
Hey, Ruth.
and Sandy Miller.
Sandy, hi.
I'm Patty Glenton, and Janet is over here. Janet's our club leader, and then Kathy's our shop manager here. So, I'm
Good.
glad you joined us.
Yes, thank you. It's beautiful. It's
We're,
beautiful.
what we're doing is looking at where we are with, so far with our block of the month, and going over some instructions for making the next item. Did you get a kit? Did you want to get a kit or not?
I can talk to you about it after the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Like a one-car family, so it's like a struggle for the car.
That's all right.
And one thing, even though we've already done these, some of us haven't. So
Right.
don't feel like you're behind if you start your kit today or,
Yeah, okay.
so
Yeah, we're
you
just-
won't be
I mean,
behind.
At this point, what we've
That's
done,
beautiful.
what we've done so far, are these blocks right here, and then we were talking about how we make
I'm
these.
building that already. I
Okay,
still
so
got to use it.
that's where we are. Okay. So we wanna do, if nobody's got any more questions or comments or anything you wanna say about this so far? Look at Sandy and her little book all organized here with her page protectors and everything. That's great. I love it. I love it. That's a great way to
This
do
is
it.
getting messed up.
Yeah, that's a great way to do it.
I wish
This was her idea
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
swatches have really helped. I like that.
I like that idea too. What we're talking about is on the instruction sheet, we're taking little pieces of the fabric where it gives the numbers and just taking them on there so we know when we get ready to put the thing together.
But you can't put it over the picture though, or you can't.
You can't see, yeah, that's the only thing is that if you cover the whole block, you can't see what the diagram is and it's below. Yeah, that's cool. Okay. Let me go ahead and talk about this quilt and then I'll shut it up. I saw this pattern online and I've been wanting to make a color wheel quilt. And then we got that ombre fabric in. And I thought, oh, that ombre fabric would be perfect for making color wheels. So I got 8 different colors in the ombre. I got a 40 yard of each of those, and then a bunch of white fabric for the background. All of those are paper pieced. And so, the neat thing here, the thing that I started out, and then this is the first row. There's 8 in there. And it's only got 3 geese in it, okay, and it's paper pieced. I thought this is gonna be a piece of cake, because that didn't take any time. And then I got to the next row, and in the next row there are 16, and there are 5 in each one. And then the last row there are 32, and there are 7 in each one. So I thought it was going to be easy to go from dark to light, but I didn't quite have enough fabric to do it exactly like I wanted to. But anyway, we came up with the idea, well, all right, let's do a challenge to people and say, we're gonna challenge you to make your own color wheel quilt. Not necessarily like this one, but something that is a color wheel that maybe you could have in your sewing room as a reference. So that if you wanted to think about the colors that you want to put together for your quilt, you can say, all right, am I gonna use complementary colors in this quilt? Then I'd look and see what's opposite on the wheel. Am I going to use analogous colors? Then I'd look and see what's next to it in the wheel. Am I going to use monochromatic? Then I'd look in an area where I look at all the colors in that particular area. So, you know, there's all kinds of different ways you could use this as a reference. But I think it'd be fun to go to your stash and see what you've got in your stash that maybe you could build a color wheel. One idea might be to start with the inside, or one part of your wheel being your shades of a color, which is your basic color with a little bit of black in it. And then have the next row be your pure color, and then the last row being tints of your pure color. And then what do you think are the, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be solids. It could be batiks, it could be anything in your stash that has that particular color in it, which I think would be fun to do. So anyway, that's the challenge out there. Melinda said she would offer some prizes. Now what they're gonna be, I don't know, but she said she would offer some prizes, and we haven't set a deadline yet. We're just trying to see if there's any interest. Would y'all be interested in doing anything like that or not? No, one says no.
Got enough on my
One says
plate.
yeah, Sandy's going, maybe. And Carol's still saying yeah.
Oh,
What do you
I'm
think?
game.
You're game? But anyway, we're putting that challenge out to anybody to make it, but anyway, that's mine.
So you do get a pattern with that, or,
No.
or
No, you wouldn't necessarily have to do that one.
no?
Yeah.
But like, okay, I got you.
Mine, I found this pattern on the internet and downloaded it, and then had to print out all the paper pieces, you know, all the things for the paper piecing on it. So it's quite a lot of paper, you know. When you do that, you end up seeing why some of the paper piece patterns are as expensive as they are, because it's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of paper. Excuse me. I was gonna show you, I was just gonna do my show and tell, okay? When I was in Paducah in the fall, I took a class from a lady named Cynthia England. And this is a little piece that I've done out of her book. The center flower here is paper piece.
Wow.
Okay? And so her book is called the book she's got is called Traditional Quilts. And that's the flower that's on the front. But there's some gorgeous quilts in here. She's got some roses and some leaves. Look at that rose quilt. Isn't that gorgeous?
Most of them paper piece.
Yeah, well, the flowers are, but the rest of it's traditional piecing. And so, like, on the violet, you know, the center part's paper piece, but then this is traditional piecing around. I thought that was so pretty. There's some gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous quilts in here. So I may do a class a little later with paper piecing after we get back to doing classes again. And then we have this panel that it's been nice to have time to do stuff, you know, not being coming to work on. This is one of the Dream Big panels. And it's just a printed panel, digitally printed panel, and then in every petal I've quilted a different motif. And it was so much fun to try and do this. Now, this one is one, if you look real close, you're going to see it's not very perfect, but I learned a lot about threads and what thread can do. And so there's some areas in here where the thread was thicker than I should have used, and the tension is not right in it and all. But anyway, I don't like the back of it as much as I like the front.
I
I think
like
the back looks
Is that all one ombre piece?
Yes, it's one. This is an ombre piece here, and I made a mask out of what was left. But this is the digital print that we have here. And you can get these in a bunch of different colors. This one is just this is the one that we have. But there's one that's that's in shades of beige, and there's one that's red, and yeah, they come in all kinds of different colors.
Could that be considered a color wheel?
Would y'all consider that a color wheel? I don't know. Doesn't have all the colors in it.
It's not quite there. It's
Not quite
missing
there.
some.
Doesn't have all the colors in it. Anyway, but it was fun. It was fun. And then,
Beautiful.
and then I saw this embroidery pattern that I downloaded a collection of. I'm making this for my sister for her birthday.
You're busy.
Isn't it pretty?
That is beautiful.
I love the pattern. And in this collection you get the words faith, hope, and love, but you also get joy and peace and a dove and a Madonna and a reindeer and Christmas, Christmas stuff. So, but anyway, I thought that turned out pretty, so I thought you might want to see that. Okay, that's my show, Tammy. Your turn. Who's next? Wanda's got something, I know.
Not really.
No? Not
Not
really.
really, I really haven't done much except this part, and, of course, been making a mask in 3 different kinds, those, the elastic, and then the strings, so.
Yeah.
Been making a lot of masks, and I got my blocks, and I ended up taking the center block out. I thought it was okay till this friend of mine came over and looked at it on the board, and she said, "You cut off your points."
Oh, no.
And I didn't think it was that bad, but anyway, I ended up taking all this out and redoing it. So
Oh, no.
there's still a few of them that the points are cut off, but the main ones I got fixed. So
Did you say that was a friend?
she's a perfectionist.
And I would have just said, yeah, I know.
Let's see it.
No, but you took it apart.
I'm caught up as far as I did the border block for May,
Yeah,
but I haven't done the double rows.
yeah.
And this is just a little project I was doing for Easter, and I didn't get it done for Easter. But I still don't have bunny tails on.
Oh my
Oh,
God,
wow.
how cute!
Isn't that precious?
That is
I love it.
adorable.
Thank you.
I
But
love that.
I was
That's
making it for
precious.
this little round table I had, but I put too much batting in it or whatever, so it really don't drape like I wanted it to. So
Yeah.
it may
What'd
end up
you
being
use
a
for
wall
that?
hanging.
I have the perfect table for that, Wanda. It won't matter. So,
But I've tried several things for the tails. I've tried Minky. I've tried some little fur stuff. I could not find the white chenille, which it called for, which you put on there and then clip it or whatever. So before next year, maybe I'll find some chenille and can put the tails on that,
We don't
that
have
I'm
white
pleased
chenille?
with.
yeah, I thought we did.
The white. I asked down here, and we couldn't find any. So that was a fun one to do, though. I wasn't very happy doing the scallop edges, but it was an experience. And that's all I've got. I've been babysitting and homeschooling.
And I'm new, so I didn't know exactly what to expect, but I've made masks and I donated all but the one I'm wearing. And then I've been making bowl cozies.
Ah,
So
Oh, cute.
these are already sold. I have these still. They're bowl cozies. They're wonderful. You put your bowl in it before you put it in the microwave, and you've got your little points that you can lift it out of the microwave, and then it keeps your hands from burning. I love them.
or you use them for ice cream holders.
Or ice
'cause-
cream, yeah. That's what I use mine mostly for. And then I bought for myself this fun little template, the Hexie, and it makes little, you could use them as a coaster or whatever. But you can also sew them side to side and make a quilt. And they're fast, super fast. So I'm probably gonna attempt that next.
That's cool.
So, and then of course I'm up to date with my block. The quarantine has helped because normally I'm not at home to sew. So I didn't buy the kit until after y'all had already met the first month, maybe 2 months, I'm not sure. And over the time I've been at home, I've managed to get caught up, so I'm pleased with that. So.
That's great. What you got, Miss Sandy?
I've had nothing else to do, I'm sorry.
No, you finished it.
No, I'm not finished. I've gotten a lot of parts done, like I've gotten the squares done. And those. And I've gotten those sections done. But, yeah. What else have I done? Oh, this is the big part of it. I've also gotten those parts done, ready to put on wherever they fit.
I think they're in like the outer. Yeah, just put them. This is,
are done.
yeah, she's got.
Wow.
I've gotten that far.
That's gorgeous.
I was hoping that Drunkard's Path, I was just looking at it a while ago, I was hoping that those would be something we could cut with the AccuQuilt cutter, but
You can't.
the AccuQuilt cutter is the 7-inch.
Yeah, it
And
doesn't
that's 6
quite where you
and a
had to do that separately and use the templates.
Yeah.
I just made an extra copy of the template page
Yeah,
and cut out those pieces. So
yeah, it's a
together.
template that you use.
It's so much prettier
It
in
is
person
pretty,
than looking
yeah.
at the picture.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it is.
Oh, but the picture's what bought me, so the
Yeah.
picture's
Yeah,
good too.
It's
I love the colors.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the jewel tones.
They really are pretty. And you've done a
Great job.
Great job. What you got, Carol?
I've just been making masks and I'm up to date with the blocks, but I'm not far ahead. So I've got all of them.
Yeah.
Miss Janet?
What did you say, Kathy, about the backing, if somebody still wants
So
backing?
if somebody still wants backing for the quilt, I still have all the fabric pulled from the shelf. So please let me know. I've ordered for a couple people already, and
I need mine.
once things have settled down a bit, our intention is to buy another set of the fabric. But in the meantime, I'm wanting to hear from Quilt Club members if there's a particular bolt that you're looking for, because we have just actually sold out of kits the first go round, went back and ordered what we needed to make a second round of kits, and I think we only have a couple kits left at this point, so I'll have to do that again. So everybody's just in love with this fabric combination, but I'm holding off putting this material on the shelf because I know as soon as I put it out there, it'll be gone. It's just that gorgeous color-wise. So
And sometimes, if you just happen to cut something a little wrong, we've got some extra.
right. I've
If
had
we
a
put it on the shelf, it might disappear, and then we don't have it for.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people call me already on that saying, okay, I'm in need of a little extra. Wasn't a major mess up, but enough.
Yeah. Well, I've got a little bit of show and tell, but it's not something that I made. But when I was pulling out or looking for something to bring, I just came across these. I was actually looking for something else and didn't have time to find it. So what I brought to show you today, since yo-yos are sort of coming back, now this is not the most prettiest pillow, but the shape is a little strange for me. But anyway, this is all hand done. Even the back was all hand stitched, all the yo-yos and everything. Even the hem on this ruffle was hand stitched. So I'm not sure how old this is. This was my husband's grandmother's pillow. So I would think that's probably one of the first things that she might have made since it was still hand stitched. But it's probably over 100 years old. So I just thought I'd bring that to show you. And I came across this when I was in my, now this was my baby quilt. That was made by my grandmother. And it's hand done. It's not the prettiest, but back then, quilts were made to be used. They didn't make quilts, like we do today. They're not just pretty and, but we actually use these. And I've got lots of quilts that my grandmother made that we use at home. They're just utility, I guess, quilts. So, and they just use whatever fabric. There's some silky in here and just different fabrics, whatever they have. So, and then I've got this one, which again is not anything fancy, but this was one that my husband's grandmother made, and before she passed away, she had made the top, but she had never quilted it. So my grandmother quilted it. So it's kind of special to us because it's his grandmother and my grandmother made this together, even though they didn't. No, they were making a quilt together. But and does anybody crochet? Do you? I used to. Don't anymore. But this is a bedspread, twin size bedspread that my great grandmother crocheted for me when I was very young. And and if you put it behind, because of the holes, if you put it behind like a solid sheet on a bed, it's really, really pretty.
It's beautiful.
So it was all hand crocheted. This must have took forever.
Wow.
But, and I don't know how it's still as nice as it is, because I used it when I was little. And I put it on my kids' bed and they used it too until I decided it might not need to be messed up. So.
Beautiful.
But when I have a question, and if anybody can help me, I made this jungle thing while I was working here. For a couple, I think 2 nights it took me to make that. But I'm not sure if I really like it or not yet. It's kind of wild. But I don't know how to quilt it. So if anybody has any suggestions of how to quilt it, I'm taking suggestions. So I have no idea.
I'd do some decorative stitches in those outside crazy blocks that would really lend itself to that.
That's what I was just thinking.
Like
same thing,
those
like the crazy
feather
quilt.
stitch
Yeah.
and some of the others in a little bit so they're real distinct.
I'd start by ditch stitching all your blocks.
Well, I
Yeah.
thought about that last night. I was
just
talking about that,
ditch
but
stitch them all, and I wouldn't do any. Well, you could go around the animals, just
Yeah,
maybe
you could.
just around the animals with monofilament, just to get the shadows of those. But I think kind of like Kathy's idea of doing the decorative stitches, so it would become a crazy quilt.
Jenny Dawn did a tutorial with that block and put them together as stars, but she did she said she used every decorative stitch on her machine, and she played with length and width to do every single edge, because she likes crazy quilts.
Yeah.
and I love crazy quilts. I just wasn't sure if I wanted to put that much work into something that I wasn't quite sure I liked.
It's very attractive.
I
It's
love it.
gorgeous.
Yeah, fun with
I
kids.
really like it
I
a
like
lot.
it too.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's here because it gives me inspiration.
Yeah.
And then I also, and that came from this book too. I don't think we have it here, but you could do. There's a crazy quilt, AccuQuilt, a die that you could use to do your crazy quilt. But this one was this is a ruler, and it had the 5 different pieces. So you cut all those out. And then last night, since I didn't really have anything else to sew, I was trying to make this hummingbird one. But I wanted to use the die instead of cutting all those little pieces. But I couldn't get it, my points couldn't line up in the middle. So, and I'm sure, Ruth, you wouldn't have liked this at all. But I could, and I picked it out to try to see what I could do. But there's so much that was ending in the middle, I couldn't figure out how to do it. So if somebody could help me with that.
So, did you do them all the same direction, or did you fan fold your fabrics?
I did, but I started out with doing them all in the same direction.
Press the
Then I
seams
started
over.
opposite, and then I said, well, maybe.
No, I meant the way you cut it. Did you fan fold it, or did you?
Yes.
Okay, that's the issue,
Okay.
because that's a directional die,
Mhm.
and you have to have all your fabrics facing the same direction.
Okay.
So that alone will make the points not come together in the center. If you use a directional die and you fan fold the fabric instead of doing it all face up or all face down. I learned that the hard way. Remember how much trouble we had with my Hunter Star? It had a mountain in the middle, and that was exactly the
Really?
problem. Mm-hmm.
AccuQuilt lesson.
You can also spin that middle, you know, you can.
Yeah,
Right.
you can
but
make
I
it- you
just,
can
I
do
could
that.
not, I mean, I tried to press them all to one side, I tried to press them all to the dark, and because of it being white, and then I thought, well, maybe if I open them, so then I tried pressing all the seams open. I just could not get it to work in the middle. So, and I guess that's my, because I didn't cut them
Yep,
right.
probably.
Because I was trying this one, well, on the packaging,
Mm-hmm.
all the points go in the center. But with this one, with the hummingbird, you've got these two in the center and then these two in the center. So I turned them. So I don't know if that would make a difference in the
And it might.
direction
That
or
brings
not.
up a question. When you've got a lot of seams together, like even 4, how do you know when you should open them in a spiral versus folding one way, the other? I've self-taught myself, so I don't know an answer to a lot of these types of questions.
I think, I mean, a lot of times I've seen people do it with with a four patch, you know, and then that, where those come together, that's opened up and spiraled. So that it looks like a 4 patch in that little part right there, and it lays flatter. And then so I would do it, you know, if it's too bulky for you, you know, like in the center on this one right here. In the center on this one, you may end up with that problem. And so I didn't do it on this one, but you could, you know, you clip. What is it? You clip a little down. You open up one seam and clip
You
it
open
down,
up
and
one
then-
seam.
and then you kind of spiral it. But I didn't.
We
I
actually
didn't do
have
it.
that documented in the Eleanor Burns book on how to swirl.
Okay.
We can
That's
show you
something
that.
I'd like to learn.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I did that middle seam, I think I pressed it open.
I didn't on mine, and it is. I mean, I think a long armor would probably object to that.
Yeah.
Because anytime you've got a bump like that, when you send it to a long arm quilt, or when you try and quilt it yourself, you know,
I
that's,
mean, I finally got it to press pretty flat,
Yeah.
but it's very thick.
yeah. I think if I press mine open right there, I'd be okay, but I haven't gotten that far yet.
See, this one has 8. This has got 8 seams,
Yeah,
all in one.
So it would need to
Point.
be swirled.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
does that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
That has a,
okay.
you just opened it,
I think so.
pressed them open, yeah.
I mean, I
Mine's
wanted to
in the middle
swirl it, but I
anyway.
didn't know how to cut or where to cut, and I didn't wanna mess it up.
Which book is
That's
it?
why I did a
Hmm?
Is
test.
it in the new one?
It's in the first one.
It's in the first one?
Yeah.
Taking out some of the
So if nobody has any more show and tell, I'm gonna stop the video for now. Okay? Okay.